Welcome to SoulScripture, where the chosen find not only their answers, but their calling. Listen closely. Chosen, one ethos, is not just another message. This is a disruption, a piercing trumpet in your spirit. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. The timing is divine. The reason urgent? You've been sensing it. The old ways are crumbling. And what was once enough no longer satisfies your soul. The silence you felt in your spirit, the waiting, the frustration, to the ache, for more ease, not a void, but a signal. Heaven is pressing in on your reality because the Most High is about to move in your life in a way you cannot afford to miss. There are moments in every chosen one's journey when the path splits. This is that moment for you. Right now, the universe is amplifying the volume, inviting, urging, almost commanding you to break out of the old frequency. Not tomorrow. Not after things settle down. Now, you are being summoned to make bold choices, to lay down the habits and patterns that have dulled your spiritual senses. Because here's the truth. You're being positioned for breakthrough. But breakthrough demands something from you. The doorway to hearing God's voice wide open is right in front of you. But only you can step through. Let's not sugarcoat it. Many wander for years, begging God for clarity, longing for connection, but remain trapped by chains they've grown accustomed to. They keep doing what they've always done and wonder why the heavens feel silent. But you, chosen one, are not here to live in spiritual survival mode. You are called to thrive, to be set apart, to be the divine receiver in this noisy world. This message is the moment the old chains break not by force, but by revelation. Here's what's coming. I'm about to expose the habits, the mindsets, the invisible weights you've been carrying, some so subtle. You've called them normal, but normal never changed the world, and normal never parted seas. Today, you'll learn not only what to let go of, but why the release is so urgent, so critical, that your next season quite literally depends on it. Why now? Because your destiny is at a crossroads. The voice of God is calling louder. The spiritual atmosphere is shifting. And there are assignments that only you, as a chosen one, can fulfill. But to step into that frequency, to hear His voice with clarity and unmistakable power, something must be surrendered. This is the purification before the promotion, the sacred subtraction that unlocks your divine multiplication. So listen closely. Let urgency ignite your spirit. This is not a gentle nudge, but a loving wake-up call from the realm of the Spirit. Every word, every revelation in what follows is a key handed from heaven to your handstow. Unlock the doors that have kept you from your next level. Are you ready to disrupt the old frequency? Are you prepared to step boldly into the clarity and power that has always been your inheritance? Don't miss this moment. Your breakthrough is not coming. Someday it starts now. You live in a world engineered to drown out the whisper of the divine. Every device, every notification, every endless scroll is a subtle thief, stealing moments and numbing your soul. But chosen one, you were never meant for the background noise of mediocrity, the illusion of normal, mindlessly consuming whatever's put before you. Whether news, gossip, or hollow entertainmenters become a spiritual anesthetic. It lulls most people into complacency. Their inner frequency dialed down so low they can't even recognize when God is speaking. This is how the adversary works in our age, not with grand acts of evil, but with a slow drip of distraction. You may think you're just passing the time, unwinding, catching up with the world. But what if those harmless habits are actually the fog that keeps you from seeing the signs God is sending you? What if every hour lost to empty content is an hour you could have been refueled by spirit, wisdom, and clarity? You were created for revelation, not information overload. For connection, not constant consumption. Consider this. Moses didn't hear God on a busy street or in a crowd, but alone, in the stillness of the wilderness. Elijah recognized the divine, not in the earthquake, nor the fire, but in a still, small voice. If you want to tune your spirit to the right frequency, you must silence the static. This is not a gentle suggestion, it's urgent. The breakthrough you crave will never break through the noise unless you create space for it. Right now, your destiny is being choked by what you tolerate. There is no neutral ground in the spirit. Everything you allow in either draws you closer to the divine or drags you deeper into the fog. Maybe you don't binge-watch dramas all night. Maybe it's podcasts, endless news, or scrolling through the highlight reels of other people's lives. The form doesn't matter, the effect does. Every voice you let in that doesn't build you up is planting seeds of confusion, distraction, and spiritual fatigue. It's time to get radical about what you let shape your inner world. Do you want to hear God's voice clearly? Then cut the volume on everything that numbs, distracts, or pollutes. Don't just reduce the noise, replace it. Fill your atmosphere with teachings, music, and conversations that elevate your spirit. Surround yourself with content that lifts, that challenges, that calls you higher. This is not about living in a bubble or ignoring the world's realities. It's about taking back control of your spiritual attention. You are the gatekeeper of your mind and soul. What you allow in is what you will echo out into the world. Here is the hard truth. Chosen one, your next level requires a different level of discipline. Heaven is not asking for your perfection only, your participation. This is your invitation to actively curate your life, to become fiercely selective about what earns your attention. The Holy Spirit is whispering, I want to show you things that others miss, but you must clear the space for me to enter. Let this be your commitment today, not next week, not after you finish one more episode, but now. The sacred signal is broadcasting, but it can't break through unless you silence the static. The moment you let go of the illusion of normal, you step into the extraordinary praises, we-come-z. That is where God's voice grows unmistakable. That is where destiny meets clarity. And that is where you, chosen one, finally hear what heaven has been trying to tell you all along. You can't ascend to your highest calling while clinging to relationships and environments that keep you rooted in the old frequency. The truth is harsh but liberating. Not everyone who started with you can go where you are destined to go. The company you keep, the people you let into your sacred circle, either clarifies your spiritual hearing or clouds it completely. Chosen one. This is the season of holy separation. Heaven is orchestrating a divine uncoupling, not out of cruelty, but to protect your mission. It's easy to underestimate how much the voices around you influence your inner world. Toxic friendships, negative family dynamics, even well-meaning acquaintances who plant seeds of doubt or cynicism. These are not just social inconveniences, they are spiritual pollutants. Some connections are subtle saboteurs, pulling your spirit downward just when you're ready to soar. Their energy is heavy. Their words are drenched in limitation. And their presence leaves you questioning the very vision God placed in your heart. If you wonder why it's been hard to hear God's voice, ask yourself, who have I allowed to speak the loudest in my life? Jesus himself demonstrated this principle. He didn't entrust every part of his journey to everyone who followed him. When it was time to heal, to be transfigured, to commune with the Father, he drew away with only a few those whose spirits resonated with his mission. Abraham was called to leave his family's familiar comfort and step into the unknown. Each time, God prepared someone for destiny. He required a release, a letting go of relationships that couldn't carry the weight of the next level. You might feel a sense of guilt or even fear at the thought of stepping away from certain people. That's natural. The world teaches you to hold on at all cost, to be loyal, to never burn bridges, to always keep the peace. But the Spirit calls you higher, not to rejection, but to discernment. The chosen one's loyalty belongs first to the divine mission, not to comfort or approval. Some people will only see you as who you were, not who you are becoming. And that's okay. Let them. There's a powerful shift waiting on the other side of your obedience. As you create distance from those who stifle your faith, you make space for the right alignments, relationships infused with kingdom purpose. People who will pray with you, call out your gifts, and lift your arms when you grow weary. You are not called to isolation, but to a remnant. The right tribe doesn't drain you, it ignites you. And don't forget, sometimes the most toxic company isn't a person, but a community, workplace, or environment soaked in gossip, cynicism, and criticism. If the atmosphere is hostile to your spirit, if you leave feeling smaller and more doubtful every time, this is your sign. It's not just about comfort, it's about your calling. Now is not the time for compromise. Now is the time for courage. Release what and what no longer serves your mission. It may sting, but heaven will fill the vacuum. Your clarity, your breakthrough, and your ability to hear God with unmistakable certainty depend on it. The company that clouds your calling cannot follow you into your promised land. As you let go, feel the shift in your spirit. This is the clearing before the downpour. Prepare yourself. Chosen one, your true circle is about to be revealed. It's time to end the silent war raging within your own heart, the war of self-judgment and criticism. For too long, chosen one, you have let an inner voice of accusation do what no enemy on the outside could: diminish your sense of worth, block your intuition, and cloud your ability to receive divine direction. But let me tell you this, with the weight of heaven behind it, self-condemnation is not humility. It's spiritual sabotage. The Most High did not choose you so you could spend your life tearing yourself down. So many chosen ones carry this burden without even realizing it. You replay every mistake, magnify every flaw, and rehearse all the ways you think you fall short. I'm not good enough. I'm always failing. God could never use someone like me. These thoughts don't come from the throne. They are subtle chains forged by fear, by past rejection, by a world that profits off your insecurity. And every time you speak them over yourself, you fortify the very wall that keeps you from hearing God's voice clearly. Let's take a sacred pause and ask, who told you that your weakness disqualified you? Who convinced you that you had to be flawless before you could be faithful? The ancient stories are filled with the imperfect, Moses stuttered. David fell. Elijah ran away, yet God called them, spoke to them, and used them as vessels of breakthrough. Heaven does not need your perfection. Chosen one, heaven needs your surrender. It's time to shift the script in your mind. Every self-criticism, every word of defeat, is an echo of a frequency that isn't yours. Replace it now. Instead of, "I'm not enough," declare, "I am chosen for a reason." Instead of, "I always fail," proclaim, "I am being refined for greater purpose." You must become your own prophet, speaking life where your mind once rehearsed death. The truth is, when you let go of self-judgment, the static clears, and suddenly, the Holy Spirit's guidance grows unmistakable. Your inner frequency is tuned to love, not lack. You step into your role as a receiver, not a reject. And hear this, your journey has never been about constant self-fixing, but about constant self-forgiving. It's the radical grace of Jesus, the same grace that healed the broken, embraced the outcast, and restored the fallen, that now covers you. You are allowed to rest in that grace. You are permitted to build yourself up, not just in faith, but in love. Each time you extend compassion to yourself, you deepen your capacity to hear the voice of God, to sense His presence, and to move in your divine assignment with confidence. But it's not just about how you see yourself, it's also about how you see others. The chosen are not called to be critics of their brothers and sisters. There is no spiritual reward for pointing out the flaws in your community. Release the urge to judge, to compare, to gossip. Instead, become a conduit of affirmation. Pray for others, lift them up, and watch how your own spirit rises. As you build a culture of encouragement around you, you'll find the barriers to hearing God's voice falling away. Let this be your breakthrough moment. The war within ends now. The next time that voice of accusation tries to speak, answer it with divine truth. You are not your mistakes. You are not the sum of your shortcomings. You are chosen, anointed, and loved. The clearer you see yourself through God's eyes, the clearer His direction becomes. The moment you let go of inner judgment, the lines of communication with heaven are restored. Walk in this freedom. Claim your divine right to hear, to know, and to move forward. No longer at war with yourself. Chosen one. There is a subtle, a powerful force that has held you hostage, so common that most people never question it. It is the habit of magnifying your shadows instead of your light. You know the feeling. Every day, your mind gravitates to what's wrong, what's missing, what hasn't happened yet. Problems become the headlines of your life, replaying on a loop in your thoughts, your conversations, even your prayers. But this constant obsession with what's broken isn't just exhausting, it's the very thing that drowns out the voice of God. You were never meant to be defined by your struggles. The enemy's greatest weapon isn't the problem itself, it's your fixation on it. When your focus is locked on your setbacks, your disappointment, your fears, the frequency of your spirit grows muddy. It's as if you're tuned into static, unable to hear the melody of hope that God is singing over you. Some spend years living like this, cycling from one crisis to the next, never realizing that they have become prisoners of their own perspective. But here is your breakthrough truth. Whatever you magnify, you multiply. If you wake up and immediately rehearse everything that's wrong, you are feeding the very energy you wish to escape. But if you make a radical shift, if you dare to magnify the light, the blessings, the goodness that is already present, everything changes. This is not denial. This is divine alignment. The psalmist wrote, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me," not because there were no problems, but because focusing on God's greatness lifts you out of the pit and sets your feet on higher ground. Let's bring this closer. Think back to moments when the breakthrough seemed impossible. Yet somehow, provision appeared. Remember times when you felt lost, yet peace suddenly wrapped around you like a cloak. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the light is always present, waiting to be acknowledged. Every time you recount a testimony, every time you give thanks for what you have, you're shifting your spiritual atmosphere. Gratitude is the frequency that unlocks further revelation. The story of Paul and Silas in the prison cell is your example. In the darkness, surrounded by chains and impossibility, they chose to sing, to magnify God's presence instead of the pain. And in that act, the prison shook, doors flew open, and freedom manifested. This is the spiritual law at work. What you focus on expands. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a steward of your attention. So how do you practice this? Every time you catch yourself ruminating on problem shelf, finances, relationships, pause. Redirect your energy. Speak aloud the blessings you've received, no matter how small. Write down the victories, the answered prayers, the moments when the impossible became real. Surround yourself with reminders of God's faithfulness. The more you honor what God has already done, the more you position yourself to hear what He is about to do next. Chosen one. Your attention is sacred ground. Guard it fiercely. Stop letting every disappointment camp in your mind. Start building altars of remembrance for every breakthrough, every moment of mercy, every instance of divine provision. As you do this, the static clears. Suddenly, the voice of God is not a faint whisper, but a living stream, flowing through your spirit with clarity and power. This is your new reality. Magnify the light, and the shadows lose their grip. You have the authority to change your focus, and with it, your destiny. Step boldly into the abundance that is already yours. Now, chosen one, let's confront the most cunning saboteur of your spirit, the relentless trap of busyness. In a culture that idolizes productivity, the pressure to always do more can feel like a badge of honor. But beneath the surface, this addiction to movement is quietly suffocating your ability to connect with the divine. You are praised for your hustle, congratulated for your jam-packed schedule. But at what cost? The world rewards exhaustion, while heaven values intimacy. This is the paradox you must now break. Let's be clear: serving others, leading in your community, pouring your energy into kingdom work. These are all good things. But even good things, when piled up endlessly, become the very noise that keeps you from hearing the sacred. Chosen one. You were not designed to be constantly spent, running on fumes, neglecting your own well of spiritual life. In the rush to do for God, so many lose sight of simply being with God. There's a subtle danger here. You can be so busy working for the kingdom that you forget you're part of the royal family. Think about Jesus. He moved with urgency. Yes, but never in haste. He withdrew from the crowds, retreated to quiet places, and protected his time with the Father above all else. The Son of God was never frantic, never spread so thin that he lost his center. Why? Because he knew the source of power is never in the performance, but in the presence. If Jesus needed sacred space, how much more do you? Let me tell you a story you may have overlooked. Martha invited Jesus into her home, desperate to serve, rushing from task to task, while her sister Mary sat in stillness at his feet. Martha's intentions were good, but her spirit was agitated, overwhelmed, unable to receive. Jesus' words cut through the chaos. You are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. That one thing is stillness, space for the divine voice to enter. Martha's busyness didn't earn her intimacy. Mary's focus did. Ask yourself, honestly, when was the last time you allowed yourself to do nothing but listen? When did you last linger in silence? Letting God's presence fill you instead of your calendar. Your worth is not measured by tasks completed, but by the depth of your connection to the source. Every moment spent in quiet communion, no agenda, no checklist, just presences a moment that recharges you for the journey ahead. This is your wake-up call. It's time to reevaluate every commitment, every yes that's left you drained and distracted. Protect your sacred margins. Prioritize what truly matters, even if it means disappointing the expectations of others. Let go of the belief that you must be everything to everyone. You have nothing to prove. You are already approved by heaven. When you trade relentless activity for real intimacy, you'll find that divine guidance flows easily. Decisions become clearer, and peace replaces pressure. In this season, the Spirit is calling you to step off the hamster wheel. Let yourself slow down. Allow your soul to breathe. Make space for the whisper, for it is in the quiet, not the chaos, that you will hear the strategies for your next breakthrough. And as you honor this sacred balance, you will move from burnout to overflow, from being stretched thin to standing strong. This is your inheritance. Chosen one, not a life of exhaustion, but of empowered rest. Take it now. There's a silent assassin that stalks every chosen one on the edge of breakthrough. Its name is overthinking. Left unchecked, it can drown even the boldest spirit in a sea of doubt and indecision. You felt it, haven't you? That endless spiral of analyzing every possibility, weighing every risk, replaying conversations, wondering if that nudge in your spirit was really God or just your own imagination. It's exhausting. It's paralyzing. And it is one of the enemy's favorite weapons to keep you from moving in obedience and hearing divine instruction. Overthinking is spiritual static. When the Holy Spirit whispers, he rarely shouts. The message comes as a gentle nudge, a spark of insight, a quiet invitation to step out in faith. But if you wait for absolute certainty, if you demand a 5-point sign before you act, you'll miss the move of God every time. Heaven rarely sends you the whole map, just the next step. The greatest breakthroughs happen not in the realm of perfect clarity, but in the land of trust. Look at the great heroes of faith. Abraham didn't know every detail, he just heard. Go to the land I will show you. And he moved. Esther stepped before the king at risk to her life, not knowing how it would turn out. Peter stepped out of the boat before he was sure the water would hold him. None of them had all the answers. What they had was willingness, an inner yes that overrode their doubts. But the overthinker becomes their own jailer. They trap themselves in a cycle of what-ifs and maybes, waiting for conditions to be perfect. And while they wait, their spirit stagnates. Their confidence shrinks, and their ears grow deaf to the divine. Overthinking never protects you from failure. It only protects you from progress. Chosen one. You were made for movement, not paralysis. Every time you obey a nudge from the Spirit, no matter how small, you strengthen your sensitivity, your discernment, your confidence in the voice of God. Action is the antidote to confusion. It is better to take a small step in faith and adjust as you go than to wait in fear and let the moment pass. Heaven can steer a moving vessel, but a ship stuck in the harbor will never reach its destiny. I want you to hear this clearly. Even your mistakes can be used for your good. God is not waiting for you to make the perfect move, but for you to trust Him enough to move at all. He is the shepherd, the course corrector, the redeemer of every misstep. What matters is your willingness to respond, not your ability to predict every outcome. So the next time your mind races, pause, breathe, ask yourself, what is the next faithful step I can take? Not the whole journey, just the next step. Obedience in motion opens up greater revelation. Trust that God is big enough to guide you, even through your uncertainties. Let go of the need for certainty. Embrace divine guidance in the mystery. The more you act on those subtle nudges, the louder God's voice will become. Chosen one. Your destiny is unlocked not by endless thinking, but by brave doing. This is the hour to break free from the mental gridlock. Trust, move, and watch the impossible begin to unfold. You've journeyed through the unveiling. Chosen one. And now you stand on sacred ground, where revelation becomes response, and ordinary habits fall away so you can receive the extraordinary. Hear this. Your breakthrough isn't hovering on the horizon. It is reaching for you now, in this very moment, through the choices you make with every breath. You are not powerless. You are the threshold keeper of your destiny. Pause and let it settle. This is your moment of divine response. The heavens are alive with anticipation. The old chains distraction, toxic ties, self-judgment, shadow magnifying, busyness, people-pleasing, overthinking are all breaking. But only if you act now. The voice of God has been waiting on the other side of your willingness, your clarity, your peace. Your next level assignment is only a decision away. Look back for just a second. Chosen one. Remember the times you stayed stuck, thinking maybe God had gone silent, when in truth, the frequency was crowded by habits and voices you never questioned. Feel the difference now. You have the authority to silence every counterfeit narrative. You are the remnant, the one called out, called up, called beyond the patterns of the masses. You are proof that God still selects ordinary people for extraordinary assignments. Breathe in this truth. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells in you. His guidance is never out of reach. The moment you let go, truly let go of all that numbed, drained, and divided your attention, the divine voice becomes clear as thunder in your soul. This is not a distant promise. This is your new normal. If you dare to claim it, let's anchor it now with affirmation. You are more than your mistakes. You are more than what you lack. You are more than the opinions, distractions, and fears that try to shape your life. You are the chosen, designed for such a time as this. Divine confirmation, even now. As you listen, a new atmosphere is forming around you. You can feel a sense of peace where chaos used to live. A surge of courage overtaking every doubt This is the movement of spirit, aligning your heart with your highest assignment. The obstacles are not bigger than the promise. The static is not stronger than the signal. God is pouring wisdom, boldness, and revelation into your life because you said yes. Expect divine appointments. Expect clarity. Expect the doors to open that no man can shut. The heavens are roaring over you. This one hears. This one answers the call. Me. So, chosen one, act now. This is your summons. Don't wait for a sign. Become the sign. Comment your commitment. Share this message and spread the fire to others who need to awaken. Reclaim your sacred ground. Bless your spirit with the authority of the anointed, and remember your next level will demand new levels of surrender. But with each sacrifice, the signal grows stronger, the vision sharper, and the future brighter. And for those who feel the stirring, get ready for what comes next. The true reason God needed you to hear him this clearly is about to be revealed. Stay vigilant. There's a twist coming, a new chapter. A hidden assignment. En unexpected élévation. Your obedience now is the seed for miracles tomorrow. Blessings and favor over you. Chosen one. The breakthrough you've craved is already unfolding. Watch for the signal. Stay in frequency. The next divine message will demand even greater courage